We've got everything you could possibly imagine there, and then a few things that you probably shouldn't imagine. Good morning, everyone. We are getting ready to leave. We got the car all packed up this morning. This is our route for the next 10 days. We're going to go from home all the way down Highway 70, Salina, cross over into Colorado. We'll go through Denver, and our first night will be at Estes Park. Visit Estes Park and Bear Lake, and then we'll move on to Mount Blue Sky Scenic Byway. From there, we're going to hit Hanging Creek. We'll spend a night in Glenwood Springs, enjoying that area. Head over to Aspen. And check out my speed. Hit that red line. Down to Crested Butte, Pomeroy Lake. We'll circle back around through Colorado Springs and head back to the house. We're going about 440 miles today to Hutchinson, Kansas for a family reunion. This car is loaded to the hilt. These are full-size camping Coleman camping chairs. Our small Coleman camping tent. X-Pad mat securely tucked in. Ryobi, just in case a tire needs pumped up. If I hadn't showed you this, you wouldn't even know all that stuff was under there. Here's our next space to fill up. All right, buddy heater and Ryobi fan in case it gets hot. Buddy heater in case it gets cold. We are going to be in the mountains. We'll take our charging cord with us in case we can use it at a campground. It's going to go right over here in this big open space right over here. We've got our Anchor Solex in here. Most of the places we're going to be camping will not have electricity, but we will. We've got dry foods, camping equipment. We've got extra Ryobi batteries. We've got 2 suitcases left to drop in here and our cooler. And in the back, we've got our Tesloid tent, which we'll be using pretty extensively. Under the seat, full-size shoes fit under there. And under the other seat over there, I've got another lunch bag with some more ice-cold water in it. Alright, so we are here in Concordia, and we're behind a convenience store called Casey's. This is a great area for supercharging. You plug in, you walk up in the front, they've got snacks, they've got bathrooms, everything you need. There's even a window washer back here. Alright, so we left the house at 6:24 this morning. It's 8:54. We just rolled in. We rolled in here with 23% battery. You can see we're already up to 27, and we've been here like a minute, I think. We're hitting 250 kilowatts, so fantastic charging. On trips, we've done 176 miles, 58 kilowatts used. Average energy consumption is a little bit high, 328. I ran 75 to 80 most of the way over here today. My average in the 4,000 we've owned the car is 284. And we look at the energy graph here, 63.4 consumed. Staying below 70 would have saved me 4.6% this trip. Doesn't matter because we had range to spare. Look at this, another 2 minutes has gone by. We're up to 35% already. Still running 246. It's an excellent charging session so far. We aren't going to be here long. And what I've decided to do on this trip is I'm going to do short charging hops. So we're going to run to Topeka from here. That's 126 miles away. We are already at 50% battery. We're still hitting 157 kilowatts, and you can see we've got only another 5 minutes to go here to charge. Right now it's showing arrival in Topeka with 4%. So we're going to go just a little bit higher than that. We'll hop over to Topeka, hit another real short charging session over there, and then continue on our way. Got our snacks, joined by the lovely Jenny. And it's time to get back on the road. We're here in Topeka. We arrived with 24% state of charge left. We picked up some Chick-fil-A food And our next charging station is going to be, our next destination is going to be in Salina. It's only 104 miles away, and that's our destination because that's where our hotel is at for the night. We're going to stop there and check in before we go on to a family reunion in Hutchinson. When I pulled in, it said we had 15 minutes to charge. This says estimated 30 minutes. We're only getting 62 kilowatts here for some reason. That's rather slow. I might check another one of these superchargers and see if it's faster. So we had a rather unusual experience today at the Tesla supercharger. There's a unusual configuration here where you got them over here and then you got them over here on this side. We started off over there. The middle one over there wasn't working for us at all. One on the end started charging. It only went up to 62 kilowatts, and after about 15 minutes of charging, it threw an error code and it stopped charging. So we moved to this bank over here, plugged in, and it went almost immediately to 150 kilowatts. So we charged there, topped up what we needed, able to run in here and use the restroom. And we have more than enough charge now to head off down the road. We'll get there with probably 30% stated charge, which is, again, way higher than what we needed. But we just finished the lunch that we bought at Chick-fil-A down the road. Anyway, about to get on the road. All right, we made it to Salina. 34% stated charge. It's 91 degrees outside. 105 miles, 38 kilowatts since our last charge. 357 watt hours per mile. Zip down here at 85 miles an hour, so it didn't work on conserving energy. Let's see how quick we ramp up here. 146, 144. And these are 150 kilowatt chargers, so that's not too terrible. We're in a small city called Russell, and these superchargers are in a Sonic parking lot. I think that's the first I've seen. These are 250s. They look new, and we're at 248. Ramping right up. Looks like a good supercharging session. And we did 69 miles, used 28 kilowatts. We were blasting 80 to 85 miles an hour, so our watt hours per mile was pretty high at 399. 46%, still getting 169, 170 kilowatts. So excellent charging stop. I think we'll be here a total of 10 minutes. Next stop will be Oakley, Kansas. I wasn't exactly expecting restrooms at the Sonic, but there are. All right, we should arrive with 15%. That's plenty to get on with our trip. Let's hit the road. Really messy. Out to my right. All right, we're here in Oakley. We got here with 17% left, even though I was blasting at like 80 and 85 miles an hour. Originally, the car thought we would have 15%, so I guess I could have charged a little bit less, but I wanted a 15% buffer so that we could kind of blast down here. Anyway, it looks like we're going to be doing a little bit deeper charge here. This says 30 minutes. We'll see how that goes. But it's interesting, this is in a Sonic parking lot again, but there is a nice big truck stop right behind us with all the facilities we need. So let's get plugged in and see how we do. And we went almost instantly to, we're at 166 kilowatts, still ramping up. Let's see if we hit 250. $248, $249. Looks good to me. see, there's plenty of superchargers here. We're in, and we got plenty. And right across the way, we got a big TA that's got all kinds of facilities. So this is really ideal spot for a supercharger next to a place where people go when they travel. All right, we're almost done charging. We got 2 more minutes to go. We're at 78%, and we're still hitting 75 kilowatts. At Oakley, we've put in 60 kilowatts, 36 cents per kilowatt. So this session cost $21.60. All right, so once again, I charged a little too long. We're gonna arrive at the supercharger in Limon with 15% state of charge. We were scheduled to arrive here with 15% state of charge, and I drove pretty fast. So I figured we would actually arrive with less than that, and instead of that, we arrived with 18% state of charge. So at some point, I'm going to get up the courage to arrive with a little bit less, maybe 10%. But you just never know with all the different elevation changes, and we've got a lot of cloudy skies out today, what the weather's going to do. So I always like to give myself just a little extra buffer so that there's complete comfort and no concern about it. We're going to get unplugged and get ourselves on the way. Next stop, Limon, and after that, we're directly into Estes Park. All right, we're in Limon, Colorado at the Tesla Supercharger. Got a few vehicles here. We got chargers on both sides. The trip this time was interesting. We were supposed to arrive with 15% battery left. Instead, we got here with 23%, so 9% more than what we were projected to get. I averaged between 74 and 78 miles an hour. We charged for approximately 20 minutes in, I think it was Oakley. I'm not sure why the car did so much better than we were expecting it to do, or than it projected that we would do. No complaints. We went through a little bit of light rain, but no real severe weather or anything like that. Just overall a real smooth ride. Time for a bathroom break, so we're gonna hook up, get started charging. Be back real shortly. So I think I know what's going on with the charging estimates. On our prior leg of the trip, I was running 80 to 85 miles an hour, and my watt hours per mile were pretty high. They were at 411, I think, or maybe even a little bit higher. And this part of the trip here, I decided to slow it down just a little bit to see what that would do for my efficiency. A pretty noticeable difference. This particular part of the trip, I went 168 miles. 2.25 hours, and my average energy consumption was 334 watt hours per mile, which made a significant difference in terms of how much energy I expended. I had a 9% better than projected by the car performance on this particular leg of the journey. So we charged 20 minutes at that last stop. On this trip, the car's been telling me I have enough energy to leave the charging stations when it says I'll arrive with 10% left in the battery. And I've always been more comfortable leaving when it says 15%. I'm not sure if there's maybe a change in the software that's occurred, but typically that's what it always recommended for me before in my Model Y, was to leave when I had 15% battery or so remaining. 2 or 3 times I've noticed in this car, it's recommended I leave when I have 10% battery remaining at my destination. So I may have to start trusting that a little bit more, because again, I went to 15% this time and then arrived with 23% instead, which meant I spent extra time charging that I didn't need to. Where we're at right now in Limon, we were gonna go to Estes Park tonight and hit the chargers there, and then go on to our campground. It's overcast, it's 12:47 right now, and I think it's better. We're going to go ahead and go to our campsite and try to get that set up because we got a little ways to go to get there. I think 2.5 hours or so. We don't have any electricity there, but I don't think we'll need it. We're going to go ahead and do a deeper charge here while we're in Limon. I'm going to charge it up to 90% just to give us like a lot of extra buffer. Our campsite tonight, we'll use the climate control in our car, do camping in the car, get the tent and the camp site all set up, and then we'll get up in the morning and we're going to go to Estes Park and Bear Lake, I believe it's called. Up the superchargers in Estes Park. I believe those are 150 kilowatt. Now it says on here it's pay to park. I don't know exactly what that means, but I know it's somewhere around the Stanley Hotel. So I guess we'll figure all that out tomorrow. But so far today has been extremely good ride in the car, and the superchargers have performed exactly as expected. And the charging stations for the most part have been short ones, like 10 minutes. So just really happy with all that. But we're getting ready to wrap it up. It says I have 4 minutes left to hit 90%. I'm at 86%, and I'm still doing 58 kilowatts. So again, I don't have any complaints at all about the charging. We ramped up to 250 as soon as right after we plugged in here at Arby's. Oh, and by the way, this is a great place again for the superchargers. I'm gonna get out and give you a quick view of what all's around here. There's everything is around here. So take a look around. We're in an Arby's parking lot, and we've got superchargers on this side, superchargers on this side. These have the thin cables on them. They're running 250. Those I know have the thicker cables on them. So I don't know if those are 150s or not. It doesn't really tell me that when I look at the app. But in either event, these are 250s and they're giving me 250s. So right over here we've got a Sinclair gas station with whatever you need on it. And then right on the other side of that, there's a TA truck stop that again has absolutely everything you could possibly want. You got restaurants here at this location. It's a great location for superchargers. So I really like having these superchargers near gas stations and truck stops, restaurants and all of that. It's a much more normal experience to pull up in a populated area like this with restaurants and truck stops where you can go in and buy your snacks and just generally it's the same experience as you have with a gas car. Charging's been so fast today that it's about ready to go by the time we go in, use the bathroom, and come back out. So just a wonderful experience on this trip, and I have to say kudos to the Tesla charging team. As we've come out here, we found superchargers in cities where I didn't even know they were. I think one of the cities we stopped in was Russell, Kansas. They had 250 kilowatt chargers there. That's a small town. I wasn't really expecting to see that. Didn't know they had chargers there. I thought we'd have to go to Hayes. But there has been zero shortage of superchargers on the trip. And we've had a couple of interesting experiences. The one we're hooked up to right now, we plugged it in, we walked inside, came back out, and it had stopped charging for some reason. I unplugged it, plugged it right back in. It worked perfectly that time. So no idea why it stopped, but no issues. This morning, I charged at a place that was near our hotel. Those are 150s, and last night we had stopped by there to charge, and there were other Teslas there, so we were sharing. So it was 72 kilowatts, which is pretty slow. So we just kind of gave up on charging last night. Went to the hotel. I zipped over there this morning. I had to charge for 5 minutes, and I had enough range to go on to our next city. So again, it's been a great experience, and the trip so far has been seamless. Just tell me that's not an amazing view. You can hear the pitter-patter of raindrops on the top of our tent. Let's see if we can get a quick view over here of the mountains. That, my friends, is $1 million view right there. This is a view from our campsite. Absolutely stunning.